Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Jerry, and today I want to talk about some common myths or misconceptions in the straight truck expediting industry. So let's dive in and separate fact from fiction. Myth number one, expediting means that you'll always have work. So some people in expediting see expediting as a constant, steady flow of loads. And while that is true, and we often handle time-sensitive freight, uh, like any other form of trucking, expediting does have its slow periods and slow seasons. A lot of the times you end up having weekends off. Don't get me wrong, there are times that loads run cross country on the weekends, things like that. And whenever those come up and they're available, absolutely go for them. Get that money while it's on the table, but don't count on that every single weekend because a lot of times you do have your weekends off. So you're not constantly running 24/7. We are team drivers, especially with Hyfield Trucking, but you're not running 24/7 all the time. You do have your downtime. So take advantage of that downtime, recoup, regroup, rest, relax, enjoy it. Because whenever you are running, you're running and you want to maximize on that as much as you can and make as much revenue as you can while you are moving. Myth number two, expediting is the same as regular trucking. Expediting is actually a niche within trucking. You deal with a lot of time-sensitive freight and things like that, something that's got to get moved very quickly from point A to point B. It could be an assembly line that's waiting on a part to get them back up and running, or it could be some auto parts that needed to get somewhere very quickly. Pharmaceuticals, testing of pharmaceuticals, so it's not a full truckload going someplace. So with all of that said and in mind, it's still a niche within the trucking field. You're not carrying full truckloads all the time. You're often dealing with a lot of smaller loads, a couple hundred pounds up to 1,000, maybe 2,000. So you're not like a regular truck. You're not running nonstop, try to get that money paid by the mile. We focus a lot on revenue paid by the truck. So revenue that is paid to the truck, that is split. Hyfield, we do a 40-60 split over here in our straight trucks where the drivers are getting 40% minus fuel surcharge and tolls. And then Hyfield's getting the other 60 and they take care of all of the fuel, tolls, and maintenance. So it's like I said, a niche within trucking. It's light trucking that you are driving from point A to point B, but you're dealing with a lot different scenarios. You're not having to sit at a dock for hours on end trying to get loaded or unloaded. Don't get me wrong, you can have those times where you get held up at a dock for whatever reason, paperwork or something like that, but you're not having to arrive and wait for hours every time you're loaded or unloaded. You're not dealing with a lot of freight. You're dealing with usually a couple items, few hundred pounds, up to 1,000, 2,000 pounds, stuff like that. You're working in a fast-paced environment. You need to make key decisions very, very quickly, think on your feet quickly. So it has some similarities with regular trucking, but it is a completely different field. Myth number three, you don't need to plan ahead. And what I mean by that is some people think, oh, you can just get your load, you can just take off. It's still like trucking in the sense of you do need to plan. You need to look at your route. You may be on a high value shipment that the carrier or the customer is asking you to take a certain route. So you need to plan that out. You need to plan your stops, know where you're going to stop for fuel. If you're on a high value shipment, it could be something that you have to notify the carrier that you're stopping and when you start moving and things like that. You want to plan your downtime with maintenance. You don't want to get stuck always having to get an oil change, because you're missing out on a load and you don't take a load because you need to go get an oil change or your APU serviced or something like that. Try to do that during your downtime. Plan that around whenever you're down on the weekends, whenever freight's usually slower. Try to strategically plan all of that stuff out to where you're not caught off guard. And that way, whenever the money is on the table, you can grab it and you can run. You never really know, especially on the FedEx side, whenever that load's going to come up. Yes, you do have loads that are on a weekly schedule. You kind of learn in a certain area that a certain load may come out, but it's not a guarantee. And you may not be the only truck in that area. So you just never know what's going to pop up. So you do want to constantly be ready. Um, you know, I always like to say, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. So think about it in that sense. Try to do your maintenance and your downtime stuff whenever you have that downtime, and don't let that hold you up from accepting a load. Just always be ready to run whenever that comes out to your truck, because it could be that next great run paying you some great money and you just accept it and go. So plan out your trips, know where you're going to stop, know where you're going to get your fuel, know your restroom breaks, kind of plan that stuff out, and be ready for whenever that opportunity shows up. Myth number 4, anyone can succeed without experience. So it's very easy to assume that in straight truck expediting that it doesn't take a lot of knowledge or skill, but that's not the case. I kind of touched on this a minute ago. Success in the industry often comes with understanding how to run your business and maintain your numbers, and build those relationships with your dispatchers, your carriers, build those relationships with your customers. You do find, especially on the FedEx side, you tend to go back to some of the same customers a lot of times because they do ship on a regular basis with us. So building that repertoire with them, building that relationship with them can go a long way. If you're new and you're willing to learn in this industry, then ask questions, and prove upon anything that you think that you already know. I say this a lot. The moment you think you know everything, that's when you're going to fail in this industry. It can really, really make a huge difference in the way you run your business if you just ask for help. There are so many people that are available in the social media groups that will assist you with answering your questions. And then here at Hyfield Trucking, we also have an excellent mentor program. It is not required for you to opt into, but it is there, and you gain access to someone who knows the industry, who knows the runs, who knows how the carrier operates, and they are available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Even after you graduate from the mentor program, you still have a network of people that you can fall back on to ask questions, whether that be our mentor coordinator, Dina, or whether that be someone else, our fleet coordinator within Hyfield Trucking, whether it's Kayla on the Panther side or it is Kelly on the FedEx side, or anyone else within Hyfield Trucking. Even if you reached out to me with a quick question because you were unable to reach someone else, we are always going to help you. We are always going to try to give you the best advice possible. And if one of us doesn't know the exact answer, we're going to reach out to someone who will know the answer, and we're going to make sure that you have the right info. Always be willing to learn, ask questions, and you're going to go really far in this industry. So myth number 5, expediting is all about driving. While driving is a huge part of it, you're going to have those overnight runs. You're going to have those back-to-back runs where you pick up, you deliver the next morning, and then you pick right back up your next run, and then you deliver the next morning. Or you may be going across country, you drive for 2.5 days nonstop, deliver, and then you have the possibility of picking up something else and turn right around and going back across country. Driving is a huge factor in expediting, like any other part of trucking, but that's not the only thing that you need to focus on. You need to focus on other things like managing your company, because you are an independent contractor. This is your business. At Hyfield Trucking, we try to give you every support possible to help you make decisions along the way, but ultimately it comes down to you making the final choice of what happens within your business. If you are the type of person that you're going to reach out, you're going to lean on your mentors, you're going to ask those questions, you're going to get assistance every step of the way whenever that opportunity comes to your truck, and you're going to maximize every opportunity that you can, you're going to go really, really far in this business. If you're someone who's going to sit back and not ask questions and not lean on your mentors, and you are not going to counter on loads, and you are not going to talk to dispatch because you don't like talking on the phone, or whatever the case may be, if you're going to constantly say no, you're not going to make it in this industry. You need to really embrace it. You need to embrace all aspects of it and not just focus on just the driving part of it. Driving is a huge factor of it, but there's so much more that goes into it. A lot of people think that being a trucker in general, that you're just a steering wheel holder, that you just drive from point A to point B and you go to bed. Well, that's not all there is. There's so much more. And you have the other side of that coin to where you do so much driving and you do have all the other aspects that play into it, that it is mentally taxing. It is fatiguing on your mental capabilities. Whenever you do back-to-back runs across country, I mean, I've done it 4 times in a row without stopping. You get wore out. You get to the point where you run out of hours. You're running recaps. Recaps is something I can touch off in another video if you don't know what that is. But you know, you can really, really wear yourself out, and you've got to take care of yourself. You got to be able to maintain other aspects of the industry, whether that be financial, mental, spiritual. There's so many more things that go into it other than just driving. Driving is a huge factor, and that's a huge part of the industry, but it's not the only thing you need to focus on. So there you have it. There are a few myths or misconceptions that you may have heard out there in the industry, or you may not have heard, and I'm the first time hearing it from me. But these are things that I have heard, and these are things that people have said in my passing or directly to me. And just wanted to throw that out there, kind of clear the air a little bit. And I hope you have a better understanding of what the industry is and what it's really like and what it takes to succeed. The biggest thing that I can tell you is really focus on learning and focus on your mentors. Your mentors are going to help you every step of the way. If you're coming out here and not leaning on your mentor and not doing the mentor program, I would highly suggest that you reconsider that, because your mentor is really going to get you in that spot that's going to have you making money from day one. We have some great people in the industry who are mentors. We have people who are passionate about teaching. That's the reason they became mentors, because they have the proven success with the financial and the numbers. And they also have the desire to help. They want to help you. They want you to call them 3 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It doesn't matter. They want you to reach out. And Hyfield has one of the best, if not the best, mentor program there is. Other people in the industry have tried to copy it, and they just can't do what Hyfield does. We put these folks in a position, give you constant contact with them, and they are there to help you 24/7. I hope some of these misconceptions that I've cleared up today help you. If you have any questions, make sure you leave them down in the comments below. I'll be responding to every single one that you put down there. Please remember to hit that thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't, if you would like to see more videos like this in the future. As always, keep those wheels a turning, and we'll catch you in the next video. Take care, everybody.